it's Aubrey, and today I have a giant book haul for you guys. Boy, oh boy, do I have a book haul. I'm not sure what happened here. It's been so long since my last book haul. I think my last book haul was in October. Is that right? I think it was in October of last year, obviously. And it is now currently the last day of June when I'm filming this. So for a little while there, Illumicrate and Fairyloot were coming out with these like incredible book boxes of like special editions of like entire series that were just absolutely stunning. And I was like buying those up like crazy. I have 4 of those sets between the two services, Illumicrate and Fairyloot. I also finally got off the waiting list for an Illumicrate subscription. So I have, I think maybe 6 months worth of like those special editions. I have a couple of like individual special editions that I've bought. I have alternative covers, but then I also just still have books from Christmas that I haven't hauled. I got books on Valentine's Day. My boyfriend and I's anniversary was last month. I had a birthday last month. And then my boyfriend and I finally got vaccinated. And so, of course, the first thing we did was run out to our local thrift bookstores, used bookstores, and we bought a bunch of books. So I just have a crazy amount of books here. But anyway, let's just get right into it. I'm gonna start with the thrifted books because those are a bit random. I'm gonna move on to, I have a few manga and graphic novels, then I'm going to get into the normal books, and then I'll get into the special editions. And I'm so sorry if I sound stuffed up. It's because I am. Allergy season is like in full swing where I live. And my nose has not stopped running since like the beginning of May. So please just ignore the way I sound and just look at the pretty books. Okay, first up I have The Drawing of the Three by Stephen King. This is the second book in the Dark Tower series, and I was so excited to find this in the wild because I have been collecting the Dark Tower series in these cute little like tall mass market paperbacks. Just think they're really cute and I like the covers on them, but they went out of print for some reason and I can't find them online / I'm too afraid to try to purchase any online for fear of getting like the wrong covers. And so I've been having a lot of trouble finding these. So yes, I was really happy to find this one. And now I think all I'm missing is book 3 and 6. So yeah, very exciting. Next, while we're on the topic of Stephen King, I found 2 Tabitha King, which is his wife. And if you don't know, she was an author herself back in the 80s, and she published a handful of horror novels. And as far as anybody knows, she hasn't published anything in many years. I'm just sort of fascinated by the whole King family. Like, they're just this family of writers, and I don't know, I think it's cool. And anyway, all of her books are, I think, out of print now. So I just was really tickled to find these. Again, I've never seen any Tabitha King out in the wild. I've been interested in her for a little while, and I found 2 of these in one day, and I was like, what? So anyway, I have The Trap, which does not have a dust jacket, and I have Caretakers. So I don't know if these are going to be any good, but they were pretty cheap and just kind of a fun find. Next, I have The Tropic of Serpents, a memoir by Lady Trent by Marie Brennan. This is a fantasy series that takes place in this kind of alternative, like Victorian London, and it's about this woman who wants to become a dragon naturalist, and it's kind of about all of like the obstacles that women of that time period faced in terms of wanting to get into science, of course in this sort of fantasy set world with dragons. I read the first book this month and I really, really enjoyed it. I'm sorry about the bird, but he's so sweet. I read the first book this month and really, really enjoyed it, so I was super excited to find the second one. It was only $5 and it looks like it's never even been read. Yeah, and these books come with illustrations on the inside, which is like really fun. I love illustrations, so Next, I have The Killing Moon by N.K. Jemisin. I still have yet to read the Broken Earth trilogy. It is a shame on my part. It is a series that I definitely want to get to this year, but I just sort of have this feeling that N.K. Jemisin is going to be a favorite author of mine. I read a short story of hers last year that I loved so much that I put it on my top 10, best reads of 2020. And I have just been dying to get to her in long form. So anyway, I saw this for $5. I decided to grab it. This is the first book in her duology that has something to do with gods, I think. A mesmerizingly exotic world where fallen gods serve as slaves to the ruling class, and murder and ambition go hand in hand. That's a quote from the library journal on the back, but yeah, excited to have this. Next, I found Children of Time by Adrian Tchaikovsky, and I've just been hearing such good things about this. All I know about it is that it's like spiders in space. My boyfriend read it and loved it, and I've just been hearing really great things on BookTube, so again, I found it for a really good price and decided to snatch it up. Next is Bloody Rose by Nicholas Eames, and this is the second book to Kings of the Wild, which I hauled last year, and I haven't read that one, but this, again, it just looks like it's literally never been read, and it was only $5, so I just kind of grabbed it because that is a book that I am really excited to read, and I just thought it might be nice to have the sequel on hand. This one is going to seem super weird, but it is The Rise of Endymion by Dan Simmons. This is the fourth book in the Hyperion Quartet. I have not read the first three. I do not own the first three, but I've been hearing lately just like overwhelmingly great things about Hyperion. I know that Brittany from Books with Brittany is like really loving that series right now, and it had been on my radar even before then and was something that I was interested in. So when I saw this super cool like classic sci-fi cover in hardcover, I just decided to grab it. It was 50 cents. So I just sort of couldn't like walk away from that. And it's in decent condition. Yeah, I just think these covers are cool. Hopefully I'll be able to find the rest of the books in these covers. But anyway, at least I have this one. Next, I grabbed Tigana by Guy Gavriel Kay. And again, I have just heard such good things about this. This is like on every list of best fantasy standalones of all time, and I just thought this cover was like super cool. I decided to snatch it up. It's in great condition, and this kind of stuff is like the fun of thrifting. Like you just never know what you're gonna find, and I love finding kind of classic fantasy covers like this. It was only $8. Next, I have Beasts of Extraordinary Circumstance by Ruth Emmy Lang. I feel like this won some awards. I could be wrong about that, but I've heard good things about it. I think it's kind of like whimsical magical realism, maybe. The quote on the back says, "Ruth Emmy Lang's prose has the earthy warmth of a campfire story, best enjoyed in the woods and under the stars. Her contemporary spin on the American folktale Beasts of Extraordinary Circumstance bristles with charm and curiosity, and its oddball hero, Waylon Gray, will make you want to follow him into the forest." That just sounds like a book I want to read, And then the last thrifted book that I have is An Absolutely Remarkable Thing by Hank Green. I think we all know who Hank Green is. Like, do I need to talk about this book? It's like first contact alien book with conversations about like social media, I think, and maybe internet fame. I found this for $4, and literally the only problem that it has is it has this tiny little like nick in the corner. I don't know if you can even see that, but I taped it up and it looks fine, and I have been really wanting to get to this duology, so I was super happy to find this. Next, I have some books that I got for Christmas. Yep, I cannot believe I waited this long to do this book haul. I need to get them out of this thing. I appreciate book boxes in order to like protect your books, but like trying to get the books back out of the box sometimes is too much trouble. Oh, there they go. All right. So we have The Graveyard Book by Neil Gaiman, Coraline, and fortunately The Milk, and this came in a little, box set. And my boyfriend bought these for me because he knows how much I love both Neil Gaiman and Chris Riddle's illustrations. All three of these were illustrated by Chris Riddle, and I just love his illustration style, and I really love like Neil Gaiman and Chris Riddle as like a unit when they work together. I just think that Neil Gaiman's writing really complements the illustration style. So So anyway, I'm super happy to have these. I read The Graveyard Book last year and absolutely loved it. I've actually never read Coraline. That's probably something that I'll read this year around spooky time. And I've also not read, fortunately, The Milk. I think this is pretty young though, but I probably will give it a read just to have an excuse to look at the illustrations. And I'm sure it's a good story. Next, I have King of Scars and Rule of Wolves by Leigh Bardugo. I took the Dustjackets off because I think they are so much prettier without the Dustjackets. I have been doing a reread of the whole Grishaverse, and the King Nikolai duology I haven't gotten to yet, so I wanted to just go ahead and pick these up, complete my collection, and then they're there on my shelves ready to read whenever I want to pick them up. Next, I have The Burning God by R.F. Kuang. I bought this all the way back in November, back when I was reading the first half of The Poppy War, and I was like loving it so much, and this book had just come out, and I decided to go ahead and order it because I thought that this was going to be like one of my new favorite trilogies ever. I have now read all of them, and unfortunately these just weren't for me, but yeah, here it is anyway. Next, I have The Queen of the Tearling by Erica Johansson. She came out with a prequel to her Queen of the Tearling trilogy earlier this year, which kind of reignited my interest in the series. It's been several years since it ended, and I had heard some mixed things about the last book, but I have heard excellent things about the first two books, and so I did a little hunting and I found this one used in very good condition. I'm happy to have it, and hopefully I'll love it. It sounds very interesting. The blurb on the inside says, an untested young princess must claim her throne, learn to become a queen, and combat the malevolent sorceress in an epic battle between light and darkness in the spectacular debut, the first novel in a trilogy. So that sounds kind of generic, but like the things that I've heard about this series, I don't think it is. I will give it a read and let you guys know, but yeah, I am really looking forward to this one. Next, I have a couple of birthday presents that I bought for myself. So first, I went ahead and splurged on The Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson in this gorgeous UK hardcover. As far as I can tell, these are being reprinted in these hardcovers, which is really exciting news because I much prefer the UK covers to the US covers. I think the US covers are nice, but I don't know, there's something so beautiful about these. I picked this one up, and then I also went ahead and picked up Rhythm of War because this one just came out and it's still available in hardcover, and once these hardcovers go out of print, they become really difficult to find. I don't know if the first three being reprinted means that they will just forever be reprinted, or if this is just like a limited reprinting, or what the deal is, but either way, I just wanted to go ahead and have this so I didn't have to worry about it going out of print and becoming very expensive. I feel pretty confident in collecting these because I have literally never heard a single bad thing about The Way of Kings. I have heard some mixed things about like Oathbringer and Rhythm of War, but as far as The Way of Kings and Words of Radiance is concerned, like I don't think I've seen anything lower. I don't think I've seen anything lower than a 5-star. Maybe 4.5, maybe 4, but like I've heard great things, and my experience with Sanderson and everything that I've heard about Sanderson, he always sticks the landing. So these were pricey, but I'm pretty confident that I will like them. Famous last words, right? Then I got Assassin's Quest by Robin Hobb. This is the illustrated edition. I hauled the first 2 illustrated editions in the Farseer trilogy sometime last year. So I wanted to complete my set, and I am so excited to get into Robin Hobb. And if I don't get to this trilogy this year, I am definitely going to get to it next year. It is high priority. I really want to be on the Robin Hobb train. And again, I am just a sucker for a good illustrated edition. I wish these editions had a few more illustrations, but the illustrations that they do have are really beautiful. So I'm really happy to have these and can't wait to get to them. Okay, and then the last birthday present that I got for myself is this edition of Alice in Wonderland with Chris Riddle illustrations. If you are new to my channel, Alice in Wonderland is one of my favorite books of all time. It is my ultimate nostalgic fave, and I love collecting editions of Alice in Wonderland that have different illustrations. So, you know, there are just way too many different covers of Alice in Wonderland to try to collect different covers, but I really do enjoy different illustrations and different interpretations of Alice in Wonderland. When I saw that Chris Riddle was coming out with his own interpretations of Wonderland, that was like an auto buy for me. And yeah, it is just absolutely stunning. He's also coming out with an edition of Through the Looking Glass, which you bet that I will be buying that as well. But yeah, these are just wonderful, and I really love Chris Riddle's illustrations. They are just so whimsical and strange, and I just really like them. So throughout this book, there are these like colored pages that seem to be kind of limited to one page, and then he has these, his sort of classic like sketchy black and white illustrations, and there are illustrations I think on every single page. This is just a gorgeous book, and I'm so happy to have it. Okay, next I'm just gonna briefly go through the manga and the graphic novels that I have. So for Valentine's Day, my boyfriend picked up a few things for me. He got me The Girl from the Other Side, which is this manga series that I've really been wanting to get into, about this like little girl and a monster, and they live on like, I don't know, like the outskirts of a civilization, I think. I'm not super sure, but I absolutely love the art style. It looks so dark and creepy, but also very sweet, and I've heard great things about it. I just really, really want to give this a try. I'm holding it backwards. It just seems like something I would really be into. And then he got me volumes 1, 2, and 3 of Witch Hat Atelier. Again, this is a series I have really been wanting to get into. It's about a little girl who discovers that you don't need to be born with magic to like learn to be a witch, and so she decides she's gonna learn to be a witch. And I think what I'm the most excited about is that this art style is absolutely gorgeous. Like every single page is just stunning. Like the character art is just so beautiful. So yeah, and of course, like I love stories about witches. I always have. Kiki's Delivery Service is my favorite Studio Ghibli film, and of course this gives me like those vibes. And I'm just so excited to get to these. I think again this will be kind of a fall read for me. I'm thinking maybe around September. These will just be perfect. So next I have Monstrous, Book 1 by Marjorie Leo and Sana Takeda. This was again a gift from my boyfriend. He gave this to me for our anniversary, which was really, really sweet. And I have just been talking nonstop about how much I want to read this series. I love the creepy art style and like the color palette is that weird. There's lots of like greens and blues and blacks. And it just looks so gorgeous. I've heard great things about the story, and I was on the hunt for one of these like hardcover bind up editions, and he hunted one down for me, so I am really grateful and so excited to read this. Okay, these next ones are probably gonna seem so random, but just bear with me. When I was a child, one of my favorite movies of all time was The Dark Crystal by Jim Henson. It was like this dark fantasy movie with puppets about this like little gelfling boy who goes on this adventure to like heal the dark crystal and like set the world right. Anyway, I have been a fan ever since I was a kid. I watched the Dark Crystal Netflix show and loved it, and I recently discovered that there is like a line of graphic novels set in this world. So I went out and bought a bunch. I have the Dark Crystal Creation Myths, the complete collection, and this is a bind up of like 3 prequel graphic novels. And then I got The Age of Resistance, volumes 1, 2, and 3. They're not labeled, so I'm not sure which one is 1, 2, and 3, but there's The Quest, The Ballad, and The Journey. I'll show you the covers. I think this is the first one. I'm pretty sure. Anyway, I'm just so happy that there's like more Dark Crystal content for me to consume. Again, like I said, this is just a childhood fave. I hope these are good. Oh, and then my boyfriend, again, bought me these 2. This is The Power of the Dark Crystal, I think 1 and 2. These are labeled, yeah. So 1 and 2, which is a sequel series. There are 4 that I found. There are like 2 prequel series and 2 sequel series, and this is one of the sequel series. So anyway, again, I love the art in these. They look so beautiful, and I'm really excited to get to them. I need to not do the thing where I like hoard stuff that I love and never read it because I don't want it to end. I did that with Buffy. So Buffy is my favorite TV show of all time, and I found out that there were like comic books, and I have yet to read them because if I read them, then Buffy is over. Yeah, I need to not do that with these. Somebody yell at me if I haven't read these in like a year or 2. And then speaking of Jim Henson, I discovered these. They're called Jim Henson's The Storyteller, and there are all these different volumes centered around different like mythical beings. So there's ghosts, sirens, dragons, giants, and witches. And apparently, Storyteller was like a show back in the 80s, and these are like inspired by that show. But yeah, I had never heard of this, and some of these are already like out of print or becoming difficult to find. So my boyfriend and I went out to like our local comic book store, and they had some of these like physically, and so we picked them up and we ordered a few online. And so now, yeah, these are all of the ones that are out currently, and I think each one has like 4 different stories, again, related to the subject matter. These are just really cool, and I was really surprised and excited to find them. So I hope these are good. I want to read one soon. Anyway, oh my god, there are still so many books. We need to keep going. Okay, so that is it for the graphic novels. I have 2 series that have alternative dust jackets, so they're not special editions, but they have pretty covers, and I will show those to you, and then we'll get into the special editions. So the first series that I bought alternative dust jackets for is The Lord of the Rings, and these dust jackets came from Nerdy Inc. This is the 3rd set of dust jackets that I have bought from them, and I just think that they do an incredible job. I'm gonna make sure I go in order. And these are just adorable. Like, they're just so great, and I have been hunting for the perfect set of The Lord of the Rings, because I have actually never read The Lord of the Rings. It is my one biggest shame. It is at the top of my priority list for this year to read The Lord of the Rings finally, but the movies are very special to me, and I have seen them maybe upwards of like 150 times. So yes, I love the stories very much, but I've never read the books. I have read The Hobbit, but I've never read the Lord of the Rings trilogy, and that is something that I'm definitely going to get to this year. And like I said, I was shopping around for a set that I liked. There are lots of sets of the Lord of the Rings that I like, but none that really felt like, oh wow, I'm so in love with that, like, order now. until these. Nerdy Inc. announced these around like January or February, and I pre-ordered them. I just love them. I like couldn't be happier with these. I love how colorful they are. I love the kind of sketch drawn look of them. And like I said, I think Nerdy Inc. just does a really nice job. They recently came out with like Percy Jackson covers, I think, which I didn't buy because I've never read Percy Jackson and I don't own a set of Percy Jackson. But anyway, I will link them down below because I just think that they're a really nice company and they do a good job. So okay, and then these next ones were probably the most of like an impulse purchase. I mean, it wasn't quite an impulse purchase because I did like take some time to think about whether I wanted to buy these dust jackets / books to fill the dust jackets, but it definitely may end up being a stupid purchase because I've never read anything by this author and I'm like super on the fence about whether I'm going to like these books. I'll just hold them up. It is the Court of Thorns and Roses alternative dust jackets that Illumicrate put out a little while ago for the release of Court of Silver Flames. I've never read a Sarah J. Maas book. I have no idea if she and I are gonna get along. I don't know if I even like fantasy romance. I feel like I could, but I don't know if I do. Just to defend myself a little bit here, like with the popularity of this series, like it's one of those books that you just have to at least try to read at some point. I mean, I don't know, maybe you don't have to, but at least for me, it is a series that I do want to give a go, right? And the thing is that as someone who like obsesses over editions and covers and whatever, I really hate like the new covers for the Court of Thorns and Roses series. Like the cover change I just think is so ugly. I don't like them. I'm not a particular fan of the old covers, but that wouldn't matter because you can't find them anymore anyway. People are selling like their original Dustjackets for crazy amounts of money right now. And so when I saw that the A Court of Silver Flames box came with alternative Dustjackets, you know, I was like, huh. And so I looked up the artist and I really fell in love with her art. I think she does beautiful work, and so I just decided to splurge and get these just because I guess if I love this series, I'm gonna be so happy that I have these covers, and if I don't, I can sell them and get my money back. I ordered them and they are just beautiful. I mean, they really are probably the prettiest books I own now. As much as I love illustrations in my books, I also really love illustrated covers, and I just think these are gorgeous. And there's like this gold foiling on the back of each of them. I don't have crazy expectations or anything. I'm just looking for something fun. I just want a fun, addicting read. So hopefully these will deliver on that because I would hate to get rid of them. They are so beautiful. So yeah, these may have been a mistake, but I'm happy to have them for now. Okay, now we are finally on to the special editions. I am going to start with my Illumicrate subscription box books. Then I have 2 special editions that I bought individually, and then I'm gonna go into like the book boxes, you know, the complete series, all that stuff. So I think my subscription started back in December. And the December book was The Ravens by Cass Morgan and Danielle Page. This is a like witchy sorority type book. I am really looking forward to this one, but it's probably one that I will read in the fall because, you know, I'm a weirdo. But yeah, it's got these like hot pink sprayed edges and it just looks like a really fun book. The January book was Winter's Orbit by Everina Maxwell. I have read this one and I really enjoyed it. It's a male romance slash like political, maybe not political, but like almost like a sci-fi mystery, and I just thought it was really cute. It's got these mint green sprayed edges and I really enjoyed it. If you're looking for a sci-fi romance, I recommend this. The February book, I think I have these in the right order, but I may have mixed them up, but I think the February book was A Dark and Hollow Star by Ashley Shuttleworth. Has these, again, very pretty pink sprayed edges. On the inside it says, "The Cruel Prince meets City of Bones in this thrilling urban fantasy set in the magical underworld of Toronto as a queer cast of characters race to stop a serial killer whose crimes could expose the hidden world of fairies to humans." I haven't heard a ton about this book, but the reviews that I have seen were good, so I am excited to try this one. Sounds like a lot of fun, and I want to get more into urban fantasy. The March book was The Unbroken by C.L. Clarke. On the inside it says, "An unmissable epic fantasy debut of uprising, espionage, and empire." And it has these gorgeous, like, dark red edges. This is such a pretty book and I am really excited to get to it. I've heard really good things about it. The April book was In the Ravenous Dark by A.M. Strickland, and this one is so pretty. It's got these stenciled edges of these like flowers that match like the cover, and the inside has this beautiful like end page art. I don't know if the like regular edition of the book came with these as well, but it may just have been an Illumicrate thing. And this was the one book in the subscription so far that really surprised me because I really have not heard very much about this book at all. The back says, "She loves a princess, she's bound to a warrior, she must betray them both." And then the May book was The Jasmine Throne by Tasha Suri, and it has these beautiful like viney stenciled edges that I am just in love with. And again, I've just been hearing like phenomenal things about this book. The inside says, "One is a vengeful princess seeking to depose her brother from his throne. The other is a priestess searching for her family. Together they will change the fate of an empire." This has a sapphic romance. It's the beginning of a new series. I've heard good things about this author's other series, like the Empire of Sand, I think it's called. So yeah, I am also really excited about this one and I hope to pick it up soon. Okay, so now on to the of 2 individual special editions that I bought. I picked up a copy of Raybearer by Jordan Ifweko in this like exclusive hardcover. I don't think it was published in hardcover in the UK at all, and I much prefer the UK cover. I just think it's gorgeous. And so I saw that Fairyloot had this special hardcover edition and I bought that. I have just been hearing terrific things about this book. The sequel is coming out soon and I can't wait to read it. And then I picked up Chain of Iron, The Last Hours, Book 2 by Cassandra Clare. This was the Illumicrate edition. I have the Illumicrate edition for Chain of Gold as well. Yeah, I am really looking forward to getting to this trilogy. I'll probably wait until the last book is out or very close to out before I pick these 2 books up. I have a very soft spot for the Infernal Devices trilogy, and I am really excited to eventually get to this sequel trilogy. Okay, next I have the Ember and the Ashes Quartet. These were from Fairyloot. These were exclusive hardcovers because this series got a cover change halfway through, which I think was a mistake. I really loved the original covers, but I do also really love these. However, the first 2 books with these covers never got printed in hardcover, and so if you wanted a matching set, you were out of luck until Fairyloot came to the rescue. So this was a pre-order like last November, and they are just gorgeous. I've read the first 2 books already and really enjoyed them. I gave the first book 5 stars. I loved it so much. So I'm really happy with these. I think they're just gorgeous. And on the inside, each one has like a cool little like foil design. That's my favorite one. This is Reaper at the Gates. And of course, the stenciled edges. I'm so in love with stenciled edges. It's ridiculous. Next, I picked up the Infernal Devices trilogy. This was an Illumicrate special edition box. Like I said, I have a real soft spot for this trilogy. I'm not like the biggest Cassandra Clare fan. I read the original Mortal Instruments series and was just not that impressed with those books, but I really like these. There's something about the time period and the characters with these books that just really works for me. And I had been shopping for a set of these to reread because I really want to reread these before I read the sequel trilogy. And I was going to pick up a set of those paperbacks where all the spines line up and it makes a little picture, but I was going to wait until we could go back to stores again to make sure that I got the right ones. And then Illumicrate announced these and I splurged because I think they're really beautiful. This is one of my favorite YA series of all time, and I have been like wanting a nice set of these for a while. So yeah, I'm really happy with these. My only complaint is that they're so much smaller than the sequel books. Do you see that? So, you know, they're both these like beautiful cloth bound editions, but they're so much shorter. Why are they so much shorter? I just assumed that they would like match and that, you know, like they would all line up nicely on a shelf. That's a little bit annoying to me, but that is literally my only complaint with these. Next, we have another one of my favorite YA series of all time, and it is the Daughter of Smoke and Bone trilogy. These were from Illumicrate. And again, it was so weird. I had been shopping for a set of these because it's been a while since I've read them and I really want to reread them, and they just got these like, you know, 10th anniversary like recovers in both the UK and the US, so I was planning to pick up one of those, and then Illumicrate announced these hardcovers and I just could not pass that up. These new covers are just gorgeous. So on the inside, every one of the books has a different quote, and then it has reverse dust jacket art. That is the first one. And then of course, the blue matching sprayed edges. This one has like these pink sprayed edges, the quote on the cover, and the reverse dust jacket art. And then the last book, Dreams of Gods and Monsters, has these bright orange sprayed edges, the quote on the front, and the reverse dust jacket art. So yeah, I could not be any happier with these. They're so beautiful and I'm so happy to have them in my collection. Like I said, this is a favorite of all time and I really hope to reread them soon because, like I said, it's been a while. So yeah. Okay, and the last books of this ridiculous book haul, The Graceling Quartet by Kristen Kishore. I have not read these. However, these are like old school YA fantasy. I think they were published back in like 2008. And I just still hear people talking about this series. I still hear good things about this series. I have booktubers that I follow that have reread these recently and said that they still hold up. So even though I haven't read them myself, I feel pretty confident that I will like them and enjoy them. I clearly have just a big soft spot for pretty editions, and I couldn't sort of pass these up. I just think they're gorgeous. This is a series that I have just been meaning to get to literally for years. I first discovered BookTube back in like 2014 or 15, and people were talking about this series, and I have wanted to read it since then, and I have been neglecting to pick it up. So I'm really happy to have these editions. They have these very vibrant sprayed edges, and I hope to get to them soon. Okay, good God, that is the end of my book haul. I will never be waiting this long to do a book haul ever again. I don't know what I was thinking, but yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you made it through to the end. Please like this video if you liked it, and subscribe if you want to see more from me. I hope to see you next time. Bye.